This is my paper mache hippo, which took a bit longer than our other sculpture exercises, so I hope you enjoy it. So for this sculpting exercise, I'm going to use all these materials. So I found, this is just from a kitchen roll, some toilet roll, masking tape, just some scissors and a newspaper. And I'm going to make a hippopotamus, or at least something that resembles a hippopotamus out of that. So what I'm going to do is just start by making a basic body. I decided to use the bigger one. And what I'm going to do is just cut out some legs. I'm going to cut them quite far back. I'm just going to, probably could use a Stanley knife or something, but for now I'm just going to use scissors. So this isn't going to be the full leg or anything, it's just like a little flap for the leg to go, really. So the aim is I stick it out like that, and then eventually I'm going to put newspaper on it to make it kind of a bit stocky and a bit stubby a leg, and then I'm going to do that for all four sides, and then I'm going to work on the head. So here I've cut out the rest of the legs, very simple, and doesn't quite look like a hippo yet, but you can see that I've made the back a bit bigger than the front. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to leave the body to one side, and now I'm going to do the head. When I looked at the photo of the hippo, I noticed that the kind of mouth nuzzle area, it's probably not the best word for it, but was quite a lot bigger than the top of the head. It looked really quite small, and the eyes look really kind of beady, and so what I'm going to do is try and recreate that. This is the image of a hippo I found on Pixabay. The great thing about toilet roll, and why I love using it for things like this, is the natural curve that it's already got, which I find super helpful. So what I'm doing is just cutting up here. It doesn't matter how neat it is, because this is all going to be covered with newspaper, and it doesn't matter if it looks too skinny, because I'm going to flesh out the newspaper. And I want a nice big head because I think it'll look cool. So I'm just kind of cutting that out. So that's kind of the ridge of the nose, and that's that huge big, what do you call it? You don't call it a snout, do you? Maybe. So, and now I'm going to cut, try not to stab myself. And then now I'm going to cut a bigger bit for, let's get rid of that bit, for the little head. So this is, yeah, just get rid of that for now. Those bits can go. I'll just quickly do this. Well, as quick as I can do it. And now I'm going to just cut. So that's quite big. I'm just going to cut a smaller bit for the head. This bit's the easy bit. It's putting it all together with the newspaper is the kind of fiddly bit that takes a bit of time. So that's quite a bit smaller, and I just love this already natural curve, which you can just allow it to bend a little bit, bend it up there. And I'd probably even chop a few bits, a few cuts in there, just to help with the curvature of the head. Just fold it over a bit. So the idea is that I'll cut into here, and I'll stick the head on. Maybe if I turn it on this side, I don't know if you can see that. And I'll stick the head on like that. So what I'm going to do is get the newspaper and just rip up some pieces And then what I do is screw it into a ball so the thumb has a bit of roundness to it. I'll scrunch it in there, and I'm going to cut, get rid of that bit, and I'm going to cut into there for the head to fit in, and I'm going to scrunch up some newspaper to fit in there also, so that it can kind of, it's going to make a neck. And I saw that there's lots of, if you look at the picture of a hippopotamus, there's lots of wrinkles on the neck. So what I'm going to do is create those with some newspaper. So, you know, I'll just twist it and I'll wrap it around. But I'm going to do that after I've covered it in newspaper, because I want that to really show. So for now, I'm going to stuff that, and all I'm going to, I'm going to stuff that on. I'm going to give it a little bit of height, and even though this probably looks a bit long, because I'm going to be wrapping it with lots of newspaper, it's actually going to really chunk it out and look like a hippo. And this too, it looks quite skinny at the moment, but that's going to come out and look a bit more like a hippo. So what I'm going to do, I've got just some PVA craft glue.
The image I used from an image I found on Pixabay.
So just a quick look at how I'm going so far. That's the snout. I decided to do the head first because it's going to be quite heavy, and that's going to affect how I do the legs. So probably looks more like a warthog than a hippopotamus, but we'll keep going. So I'm just going to keep going with newspaper, and I'm going to add probably a bit more toilet roll. I might cut some more out, stick it on just to make it a bit more substantial. I'm going to wrap the body with some more newspaper and make it look a bit more chubby. So this is how it's going so far. I'm quite pleased with it. I managed to put the legs on. To do the legs, I just got this scrap bit and I just cut it, there it goes, down the length, and just added it to the ones that were already there. So now I'm just going to keep filling it in and making it a bit more substantial. So put stuff underneath, make the head kind of be a bit more attached to the body, and see how it goes. So I've done more to it. I've just filled it out a bit more. I've put mountains of masking tape on it. So I kind of want to make it feel wrinkly around the head. I haven't really done much more to the head, and that's the bit I'm going to do next, the fun bit. This is the hippo nearly done. So what I've done is I've just added a few little tidbits on there just to do the nostrils and the ridge along the nose, the snout or whatever, and then the little ears. So what I'm going to do now is do the paper mache part. So I'm just going to use some PVA glue and put newspaper all over it to make it a bit more smooth. But I'm really pleased with it. And the thing I like about doing these kind of things is I find the animals tend to have their own personality, and they kind of, like this one's head's tilted slightly to the right, which I kind of like, gives its own unique quality. So yes, now I'm going to finish it off.
I thought I would just do a speeded up version of me putting the kind of paper mache type thing, all the strips of newspaper over it, just to smoothen it, give it a bit more volume and to make it all come together. So I just spent a bit of time doing that. I also would squish bits with my hand, like I treated it a little bit like clay because it was quite damp, so I could really squish the shape that I wanted, which worked well as well. So, and I kind of wanted the newspaper to be all crinkled because I really wanted that crinkly, all those folds that I could see in the image. I wanted all that to come about in the actual finished sculpture. So yeah, I just kept going until I was happy. I spent quite a bit of time on it in the end, but mainly because I was just enjoying it. And every time you think you're going to stop, you see the next bit you need to do. So stopping lots is probably good because you'll see what you need to do. Finished with the paper mache, and then I decided to paint it white just to finish it off, and I might paint it again later, who knows.